in today's discussion, Raju, let's talk about the thing which we have anyway been talking offline so many times. So we thought let's just go ahead and record it for our viewers. So with the advent of AI, Gen AI, we are seeing so many changes happening. So the idea is, if we took a top-down approach, how will this lead to IT services firm evolving their business? So how the businesses of IT services firm will evolve or will change because of this? What do you think?
You see, Rajiv, for long, I think both of us have discussed this many times. For long, the business model of IT services specifically has been headcount multiplied by the billing rate multiplied by the number of hours. So the primary driver for revenues has been headcount growth. The more people you have, the more people you are able to staff in a project, the more you're able to charge clients for that.
Correct,
The
correct. I,
thing to
I, I
note.
was just I was just looking at the number, 2023 numbers I have. So Accenture, the headcount was 700,000 employees. TCS, 600,000 employees, right? So if you look at their growth trajectory over the last 2 decades, it is consistent. The growth is consistent with the number of people they've added over time, right? So it
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
traditional model. So far model has been more people, more revenue.
Exactly.
Even when I look the analyst reports who are tracking the stock market, so when they look at IT firms results, they will look at, okay, what has been the headcount growth, what are their hiring projections, so that is pretty much consistent with how much they will grow.
Correct, right, exactly. So now the interesting thing is that we are at a juncture where everyone is talking about how AI, generative AI, agentic AI is going to transform not just industries, but economies and a lot of the things that we see around us. And IT services is no exception to that. In fact, I would say it's one of the industries that's at the forefront, which has an opportunity at hand, but also risks being becoming irrelevant if they are not able to transform their business models and adapt to this new reality. So there's an
Mm,
opportunity, but there's also a threat.
correct, correct.
Let's talk about.
I was also reading about one interesting discussion. Okay, many times these IT companies, IT service companies, large IT service companies have been blamed of why do you not have products? But another side of it is that since they do not have products, they have been very agile. So when cloud came on, became popular, they evolved, they pivoted towards doing a lot of cloud implementation. When ERP
Yeah,
came, they went into that. So they are able to adapt, evolve, and pivot very quickly. So
right.
I'm thinking they would do the similar thing, and we are already seeing a lot of companies talking about we want to do AI first, we want to have this
Correct, correct,
AI mindset, etc.
correct. Yeah, and which is where, as I said, right, there's the opportunity, and then there's also the threat. Let's
Mm,
talk about the opportunities, right? The opportunities obviously are immense if the companies are willing to sort of go down that path. One of the changes that we are seeing, Rajiv, both me and you in our conversations with enterprise leaders and just with our colleagues and the industry conferences that we visit is there's a general shift in the client's mindset where they are looking for more solutions, right? End-to-end
mm,
solutions.
mm,
They're looking for vendors who can come to them, who can offer them genuine solutions that solves their business problem and solutions which are end to end, solutions which are able to achieve a particular business outcome, right? So we talked about the headcount based model where revenues were linked with the number of people you were able to staff. The transition that we potentially will see is solutions and products being at the forefront, which are able to solve specific business problems of the client and are able to achieve an outcome, and services around that to support that product. So product becomes your central theme or your key offering, and then you say with this product, with this IP, or with this solution we can solve your problem. And then we can also have services like consulting or your implementation services around that particular product.
correct,
That's one
correct.
key thing that I think is a great opportunity and also a shift that we are seeing. What are your views on that?
No, I think totally agreed. For example, code generation. So a lot of these large IT services firms, application development and maintenance has been their, core business, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
AI coming in, we are seeing that, a lot of code will be automated, a lot of testing will be automated. So
Right.
what happens to
Right.
the number of people? So how will these companies than survive, for example, right? But if we look at the other side of it, code still needs to be generated. You still need to have a trusted tool for code to be generated, right? So, and
Correct.
we are seeing a lot of these companies now pivoting to bringing this AI platform, right, to the clients. Okay, we are bringing this platform, the AI-enabled platform, which we can then further customize to your needs, looking at
Correct.
responsible AI, security, and whatnot. And with this code, with this tool, it will generate your code. It will do your code quality review. It will generate your test cases, etc. So they are still going ahead. So that means instead of say 1,000 people, you will now need say even only 500 or I don't know 200, 300 people. But then the revenue will then be compensated by this product. So it's not just services. Okay, these are 1,000 people. Rather than that, okay, these are 100 people
Correct.
or 200 people. Comes with this product, and will charge you this.
And also from the client standpoint, it's so much easier and it's so much more efficient for them to deal with less number of vendors who bring
Hmm.
end-to-end solutions. So if say, if I mean traditionally, if they get one particular solution from a vendor and then they get another solution from a vendor, we know how complex the ecosystem could become managing so many vendors who are bringing very niche solutions, right? The fact that we're
Correct.
talking about platform based approach, where you give like a menu card saying, for an AI solution we have access to all the latest models, we give you, standard prompt templates, we also give you, the data ingestion and automation solutions, we give you access to, sandbox environments where you can experiment.
Correct.
We
Correct.
have tie-ups with big parties, like the hyperscalers, and we bring their frameworks and solutions into our platform. So if you go with that menu card, right, clients and pick and choose saying, I want these three or this four, or I just want everything. That is a much more efficient conversation to have with one vendor rather than creating this
So,
whole maze of vendors in the
correct, correct,
ecosystem.
correct. So we are seeing these IT services companies, building end-to-end sort of SDLC AI platforms, for example. We are also seeing some of these companies building small language models, right? So I was
Correct.
reading TCS recently, sort of talked about their small language model which they are building
Correct.
for
Yeah.
financial services, right? So are we? Would you say that these IT services firms are now sort of forced or looking to pivot towards being more of a product company rather than just remaining services companies?
Yeah. uh, Not, I wouldn't call it forced, but the circumstances are such that, right, I mean, if we look at
Hmm.
the future projections from all the experts and research reports, it clearly projects a shift towards augmentation of human labor with the digital labor. So
Hmm.
if you're talking about that, obviously there's a huge opportunity to create products and solutions, right? I mean, where you, as I said, right, agentic AI is becoming so popular day by day, and everyone is talking about that.
Hmm.
So these companies can come up with a whole suite of offerings, not just in SDLC, but also on the on the business side, right? Around customer experience, in operational efficiencies, right? So there can be many agentic AI, Gen AI based solutions which these companies can. So these could become small apps which could be hosted on the platform that the vendor themselves have brought. So it's not just the app that the vendor is showing. They're saying we have this app, but you know what? We can provide you the infrastructure, the ecosystem, the tools, the solutions, the language models, and everything around that, and deliver end-to-end solutions for you. And as I said, it's not just SDLC, but also customer experience apps, operational efficiency apps, risk management apps. So the possibilities are endless.
Okay, so we are saying that inherently the nature of services which are being offered will change rather than just going in with some bespoke services. It will be more of product-led services.
Absolutely. And as we already discussed, right, the services would be the icing on the cake around that, right? But the
Mm.
core value proposition will be solutions, platforms, and products.
So if I take an analogy of say a contractor, so if these IT services firms are say building contractors, you have invited them. Okay, I have a land, build a house. So they'll come with bricks, cement, and whatnot, and they will just start building. Rather than doing that, they are now coming with prefabricated houses or panels. They're coming and installing them. So it is easier, quicker, and more of a they're coming with the product and the services.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So imagine, right? If instead of that, if the architect just comes and shows you a nice architecture view of on a page of the blueprint and says,
Mm,
"Give me so many $1 million just because I showed you the vision,"
Mm.
That's not going to fly anymore. I mean, the fact that this transformation roadmaps, these blueprints and playbooks uh, are nice to see on paper, but the idea is clients will pay the dollars where there is solutions, where there is tangible outcomes, and as I said, where there is ROI.
Mm. What
So
do you
they
think?
want the recommendation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What do you think? How will then these companies continue to differentiate themselves, or will they be able to differentiate if everybody is sort of building the same thing?
that's a very critical question. Differentiation obviously would come from, in my opinion, right, deep client relationships,
Mm.
right? So the ones who have built that rapport, that relationship over the years across different industries with different clientele, right, will have a huge advantage. And also, many companies are looking at many companies who don't have in-house capabilities fully are also looking at acquiring capabilities outside by acquiring many small companies. Accenture, we know, is almost sort of at the forefront in acquiring many small companies where they don't have capabilities in-house. But the key remains, right? Relationships are going to be very important. And also, I believe, although we talk about products and solutions and offerings, but I think it may sound a bit philosophical, but empathy, problem solving, critical thinking, domain expertise, I think those will be very important, because after all, Gen AI and AI is just a solution. It has to solve business problems,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So yeah,
This point of relationship is actually very, very important, right? Because we
yeah,
have also seen when you take these solutions to clients, they are not so comfortable, allocating budget, because when they have to allocate it, so everybody has finite money, right? So when they have to allocate budget, they have to show, okay, what is my ROI? And we
right,
know these things are still just coming out of labs. They're still a bit more experimental, and they're not established models of how much ROI you would get out of this, right? So you have to take that plunge, be ready to do that experiment, be ready, to try
right,
it out, to experiment, and then you will see. So
right,
for doing that, I think that relationship is going to be extremely important. Okay, so the client will say, okay, yes, let's go ahead and do that. I trust you. We have that relationship. I trust if you're saying that, okay, this is good for me. Let's go ahead.
right,
Right?
right, right.
So relationships become extremely important. Yeah,
Absolutely. And we have discussed this offline, but I would want to ask you, in the client conversation that we are having, especially as consultants, what are some of the things we are seeing is that are actually hindering the client's ability to move faster on Gen AI and AI? What are some of the things they're saying? I mean, ROI is one that you talked about, and what other things are they talking about?
ROI is one. They are, because everybody is trying to push POCs, right? So
Yeah,
let's come and do a small POC. And clients are generally looking for, okay, how do we, transform our business? So they are looking for 2 or 3 year roadmap, but firms are not able to provide that 2 or 3 year roadmap because there are no established models, right?
correct. Yeah,
Then
yeah,
they are uh, ROI, more importantly, they are also looking for, okay, how much will it cost us? Are we,
yeah,
for example, by adopting this AI and agentic AI, because we are saying that they could also be take care of your workflows. They can also be a conversational bots. They can do whole host of things. So the question is, will we be able to eliminate any of our services? For example, will it be able to replace service now? Will it be able to replace our ticketing tool?
correct.
Right?
Yeah,
It could
yes, yes.
potentially do, but we cannot give that roadmap. So giving that clarity on the roadmap, say for the next 1, 2, 3, 5 years, that is something which we're not able to give client.
Yeah, and I think we have discussed, Rajiv, between me and you, and I think we recently wrote an article as well. Data, I think data readiness is also what clients are saying.
Absolutely,
Are we data ready? I
absolutely.
mean,
Yes,
do you think we are data ready? I think many clients that we're seeing are still undergoing data transformation projects, right?
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
they're also,
Yeah.
and those are pockets of opportunities where, as we said, right, IT services firms can play a key role in accelerating some of that, right, using AI and Gen AI. Because I think one of the use cases that we talked about was how can, so for example, one of the use cases that we saw was how can data products, which is what the article that we wrote about was, how can data products life cycle be accelerated using Gen AI. I think that was one of the
Absolutely,
use cases that we saw.
absolutely. Yes,
How can we
yes.
accelerate the dev, the design, the architecture, then the testing? So I think solutions and products around that, and also you talked about testing, right? How do we automate some of these programs that are already underway in data? How do we automate the SDLC journey? Some of those, I think, and we are already seeing some solutions
Correct, correct,
being
correct.
presented to clients in IT by the IT services firms, right?
Right.
Like you said, TCS and Accenture.
Correct, correct.
Uh,
And
how to help the clients accelerate that journey?
correct, correct. We also just talked about it. I was just saying that cloud came up, so new opportunities were there for IT services firms to grab. So with this
Correct.
AI has come up, but with this AI, this data problem. I mean, it's not a new problem. That problem was existing, but that problem has just been, exposed totally. That your data is not clean, your data is not in one place. You have duplicate data, data is messy, etc. So clients are looking to now first streamline their data because they realize this: if we don't have the right data, it will be garbage in and garbage out, even if you bring in
Correct.
AI, right? So that
Correct. Correct.
itself
Correct.
poses, great opportunities for these IT firms to go in and do multi-year projects,
Correct. Yes. Yes.
right? To clean the data. Another new avenue which opens up with this is there's a huge demand and growth in now security, cyber security,
Yes.
responsible AI. New regulations will be coming up. So how do firms adhere to those new regulations? So all of these, I think, will also bring in
And
more
when you talk about the
opportunities.
platform solution, which is like a one-stop shop, solutions around responsible AI, cybersecurity could all be part of that platform ecosystem, right?
Mm,
When these IT service firms go to clients saying, we have modules built in to secure your data. We have modules to built in to safeguard you from hacking. We have modules built in which ensures that all your data is moderated through responsible AI. So
correct,
all those could be modular components within that platform. As I said, right, it's just a big sort of a menu that you take to the client and say everything is available in our restaurant, and you pick and choose what you want to have for lunch or
right,
dinner.
right, right,
Right.
right. Another aspect, if I bring in Raju, future of employment within IT services firm, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what sort of roles they will be looking to hire? Because traditionally we have seen, okay, they will just get in people and train them as developers, testers, etc., freshers.
Right.
And even if lateral hirings, those are the roles, sought after for, right? If so, I would say 80% roles are those roles. But going
Correct.
forward, if you're saying it is more of a productized services rather than just plain vanilla traditional IT services. So what do you think? What sort of roles will emerge? Will be hired more
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hired
So
less?
this is a
Hmm.
massive question, right? I mean, obviously, it's there's so much literature around it. In fact, World Economic Forum recently came up with
Hmm.
a report where they forecasted, by 2030, the next 5 years, what kind of jobs potentially will cease to be in demand, what kind of jobs will grow in demand. We can put the link in the description, and I
Yep.
think our viewers can go and check that out. I don't want to quote from that report, but broadly what they're saying is, upskilling is no longer a nice to have for people in this industry. It's absolutely a must have. Again, I talk about opportunity and threat. You can see it as a threat, saying that if I don't upskill, potentially I may not have a job in few years, or some years. But instead of that, you can flip it around and look at it as an opportunity where you can build yourself up for a new, completely new industry that's sort of starting.
Correct. So
Some of this, and what so
roles like AI engineers, data scientists, product
absolutely
managers, cybersecurity
correct.
specialists, those sort of
Yes,
roles which be much more sought after rather
yes,
than
yes.
I am a developer, I am a tester, etc.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Hmm.
also, for people who are non-tech, right, the business users, I think the ability to, because the threat is not just on the SDLC side. The threat, not I'm not calling it threat, but the fact that a lot of these jobs, even in the
Disruption,
business side,
if we call it.
disruption. Yeah, even in the front line, for a frontline staff, for a business user, I think the opportunity for them is to be able to get comfortable using these AI tools, because after all, everyone is talking about digital labor working alongside human labor. So how can, for example, a loan officer, use an AI assistant to do their job better? How can
Hmm.
a marketing manager or a digital marketing specialist use these tools to quickly iterate through ideas, generate new campaign ideas, etc. Right? So to make themselves more productive so that they can focus on more high value work, right? How
Right.
can an ops user, or can quickly generate visualizations, without actually having to ask somebody to write SQL queries? Or
Hmm.
how can some of this document processing be automated so that the ops user is able to focus on just edge cases, for the even credit underwriters, right? So that they can focus on high value, not necessarily high value, but edge cases, and those cases which are more complex in a bank, for example. The idea is Yes, we're talking about Gen AI engineers, etc., on the tech side, but even from business side, I think everyone needs to, as a user, needs to be comfortable using these AI tools to make themselves more
Mm.
productive in the day to day life.
Right.
Otherwise, as they say, right, AI may not replace you, but a person who knows how to use AI may. So that's the thing that yeah,
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah. So, yes, so I think what we're saying is, this AI-driven shift to productized IT services is not a trend. It is a fundamental change
correct,
to how the industry will operate in the future. And we are also
absolutely
saying while it presents challenges, it also opens up, unprecedented opportunities for growth, innovation for IT services firms, for the clients, for
and for
industry in
individuals
general.
as well, right?
For yes, for individuals, it means you have to embrace continuous learning. It's not an option. You have to upskill. You have to learn AI, be it if you're working in the back end or even if you're working on the front end, because everything will be disrupted. And the
Right.
future belongs to those who can sort of harness the power of AI, learn it, and for the firms who can create scalable, impactful solutions, they will thrive in this environment.
Right, right. I think as I said, I mean, I think the key is being partners for organizations in helping them navigate through this AI journey, which means you'll have to come with solutions, you'll have to come with answers, and platforms and products could be a
Platforms
key to
and
that, right?
products, and at the same time, we have been also talking about this, Raju, that from consulting, we bring in that storytelling, strategic thinking approach. So
Correct,
that
correct.
will still be important here because
Absolutely.
clients still need to visualize the future,
Correct.
right?
Which is what I sort of alluded to in the beginning, saying that the importance of critical thinking, problem solving,
Yes,
visual storytelling, and being able to articulate, right? I think those will be key. So IT services firms, while they go with their products and solutions and offerings, will also have to look at upskilling their employees to be able to articulate the solutions, to be able to solve the problems, and have
correct.
those interpersonal skill sets as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So great, Raju. So I think we had this good discussion of about the industry. I think next we will discuss on how the young professionals, right, how they can start learning AI. If somebody who has not done it at all, what can they do? What are the small steps they can take? What sort of careers, etc., they can explore? More
Right.
for more of a frontline or business oriented people.
Correct.
What can they do to get on this
Right.
bandwagon, right? So I think we will have a
Sure.
dedicated sort of discussion on that, and in maybe future conversations, we'll also look at some of the tools on the side which you have developed, which are very very interesting. I think we can also
Yeah.
showcase them as well.
Yeah, happy to share that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Looking forward to the next conversation,
All
Raju.
right, let's do it soon then, and let's not have such a big gap which we had this time. Okay, chat again then.
All right.